But go ahead, Enos.
I see. I don't
So
know.
here's the thing.
I don't know the video.
So here's the thing, right? Because like this is where like that what I was saying about outside influence like really comes into play.
That's
We don't actually know their
We
situation.
don't.
He could have overexerted himself in getting a home. We all know the housing market lately has been like absolutely atrocious. He could be just trying to get himself to a place where financially he can give her the wedding that she actually wants, on top of the fact that he's gotten her a home that like he may be struggling to afford. He may have gotten that $400 shirt when he didn't have a home where he had to pay a mortgage and property tax on, right? I understand like the need to solidify the requirement of marriage. I understand all that part. I understand why it's important. It's not just a piece of paper. The ring is not just bragging rights. I get that stuff, right? But sometimes, if we're honest, women don't really listen to men all the time when they lay out the game plan.
That's true.
Or they want the man to pivot differently
Mhm.
when they feel like it after he's laid out the game plan,
That's true.
right? They could be par for
Oh,
the
yeah.
course, and he's told her, "Listen, we need to hit these milestones. This is how we're gonna do it." And now that she's got a camera and a microphone in her face, and she knows that the internet is gonna go wild on her, that she wants to catch an attitude to save face at the
Well,
expense of her relationship.
but in her
I like
defense,
your assessment,
but,
Enos.
but that's true. I like everything until the end because that's true. Because even if we're trying to build to something, he could have just been like, we gonna do that, baby. We already had this conversation. We know. I mean, there are ways to say it. That's not what he said. He made it seem like, well, why do we need that? What he was the exact. He was knocking the idea down.
But hear me out, right? I think
He knocked it down.
so. Hear me out, right? I'd like that to me, at least the way I heard it, sounded like a defensive response to the way that she brought new energy. So he was like, oh, okay, let's be honest. Men can be super petty, and if we're super honest, men can out petty women any day, right? So if she's gonna come with energy where she's like, oh, I'm gonna act brand new, like we didn't have these conversations, I could see a man like him being like, bet, why do we need to get married at all?
Well,
So
these
like
are all assumptions. We can only go by.
they are. But all I'm saying is that like sometimes we like to put our own spin onto things. And so like I just wanted to bring like the other side of the assumptions to it because it really could go either way.
But let's take it to this. Let's take them out the situation. How many people do we know are living like this? They're in a relationship with somebody, and it's been years, and years, and years, and it never leads to marriage. Like it just doesn't.
That was an accident. I was trying to click off the other one. I'm sorry.
I think part of the issue is that generally men don't necessarily see marriage as them actually showing their commitment. They think their actions are showing commitment. That's why even before men get married to women, they're more willing to live with you. They're more willing to protect you. They're more willing to pay for you and finance some of the things that you want to do and work with you. So typically speaking, men don't
Isn't
grow up.
marriage the biggest commitment? Like when
No,
you're talking about commitment and men looking at commitment,
it's not.
why would marriage be the biggest because I think that's why men avoid marriage when you really think about it, is because they realize it's such a huge commitment when you get to that final stage of marriage.
But the thing is they're still being committed to that woman. They're still paying for her. They're still living with her. They're still putting their life on the line
Really
for her.
commitment
They're
if it's
doing all of the things. They just didn't submit the paperwork.
so. Let me
I
ask you a
think
question. Let me ask you the real fast, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm sorry, Mark, because I be forgetting. I got ADD. But real fast, to me, if you love a person, let me just say, all the men out here, the best thing you can do for a woman is to give her your last name. That's the most honorable thing that you can do for any woman is to let her rock your last name. Because now that is official. You are mine. You have my last name. And you're saying, oh, I love you, but up until this point. I don't want to give you my last name, but up until this point. I love you. I'm dedicated to you. Just you gotta take my word for it. We ain't gonna sign no contract. Do you go to business like that? Oh, I gotta take you. I got you, brother. Just put your money down. I got you. Don't sign no paperwork. It's all good. Do you do business that way?
No,
Is that
I
how
don't.
y'all?
I don't do business this way, and I agree 100%. You should want to provide some level of protection beyond just your word. because that's what the marriage bond is, or the certificate. It's beyond its legal protection. I get it. I'm with you 100%. However, men aren't socialized or even think about marriage until they think about, quote unquote, like you're saying, honoring and respecting that woman. They think in general we're taking care of you by what we are doing for you, and that many men act like husbands before they actually decide to marry you. Versus on the flip side, women, due to whatever situation or listening to other women, they will rather not act like a wife, so that in the hopes that they can be a wife. Because for some odd reason, they feel like if they remove stuff and make it exclusive for marriage, then they have a high likelihood of actually being able to secure the marriage. But I do want to go back to the whole notion of the ring. I don't think women want. I don't think women should want men to look at have the same mentality of a ring for us, like if they as if women would win it. If when you think about a man winning a ring in the NBA or the Super Bowl, he spent all this work, did all of these things, did all of this sacrificing, he did everything for this ring. What happens after he gets the ring? Does anybody know?
It's you got to restart over and do it over again. It loses its value to you, and it's not as
Exactly.
important once you
You
achieve it.
just go get another ring. There's no value. What's value is that you had other people see you get it, and then you don't care about that ring as much. You're only putting it up in front of other people, which is why I said the ring is bragging rights for women. That wedding ring, like if you get married, and depending on the size of this rock that you got on your hand, right? You're like, well, shoot, this is how much he care about me. Or, hey, I got picked. You didn't get picked. It's bragging rights. That's the reason why more women are willing to focus on the wedding more so than on the marriage, because inadvertently, women are also thinking the same thing that men think about rings. Oh, I got the ring. There ain't no work needed, because guess what? I got the ring. I got the symbol that I won. And then you don't, and some women don't do anything else besides get the ring.
So to you it's just a ring. Okay. But if it's just a ring to you, then we should not have any more arguments about women having kids out of wedlock. We should not have any other arguments about any people not getting married. If it's okay, it's got to be okay. It's got to be okay across the board. Okay. No more complaining about women doing this, having a baby by because you don't want the ring. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is when it. Okay. I want to stick it right there. Go ahead, Enos. I want to take it somewhere else.
No, I love it. I'm gonna second that on you. After you, sorry. So the other people who talk about how valueless the ring is are side chicks. The other people who don't respect the ring or don't see the value in the ring are side chicks, right? So when we talk about this, the ring, as much as men want to talk about like the size of it and all of that stuff, to be honest, women want to show off anything you give them. To be fair, it could be one flower that you picked from your neighbor's garden. It could be whatever it is. Women love to show off what their man does for them. The ring is no exception. Look what my man got me. Look what he did for me.
Show
To
y'all
be
my
honest, she's showing you off by showing the ring off. It's not just about the ring, because if we're honest, that all these boss babes and stuff like that, they can go buy a ring, right, and wear it and be like, look at my cute little. No, my man did this for me. He loved me and cared about me enough to do this, to make it official, right? To tell the whole world I get to walk around, and every time somebody looks at my hand, they see that I am a married woman. That ring is supposed to be a symbol of your commitment. It's not the whole reason that women have are fawning over the ring is what that ring is supposed to mean, right? This man wants the whole world to know that I belong to him. I don't even have to come out my mouth. They just have to look at my hand. right? I understand that men and women look at that very differently. I have compassion for that because there are a lot of women who overstep boundaries and put men in positions to overexert themselves to keep up appearances. I have compassion for that. I do. I understand it. I get it. Women need to stop doing that. But let's not devalue what the ring is supposed to be because a group of women want to be like stunning on Instagram.
And two,
They're
to
not
add,
just starting on Instagram. They
let,
starting in real life.
so let
That's
me
why
ask
I
you,
say it's bragging rights.
This
but
is
I
social.
mean, real fast,
Go
real
ahead.
fast, real fast. But why is it that only black men have a problem with it?
Who said black men had a problem with it?
Y'all
Hold
are
on.
not getting married
So
based on stats.
you
Like,
want
what
to
do
see
you
what's the
mean?
most consistent? So KS used to say black women are the most engaged, meaning they got a ring, and black men have a problem with the contract of marriage. So they didn't get married, but they the most proposed to, according
And
to
then they turn down the proposals. They're getting proposed to by guys they don't want.
We'll say majority of the time that's not the case. You have a few that will say no. That is not the vast majority. Let's keep it clear. That is not the vast majority. But my
Well,
thing
it's
is
definitely not
that
the
the
vast
ring,
majority. Majority of
like
people ain't getting married.
the ring is also a social thing that also provides access as well. So that's the other thing that we're not talking about. Like I remember the difference between going into when I was pregnant with my son, not engaged, you know what I'm saying, having a child, and not and feeling some kind of way because in my mind I'm like, damn, I'm another statistic, having a baby out of wedlock, you know what I'm saying, and then the even bigger thing is that after I had my son, I was still with, he wasn't my husband yet, but with the father. And because I was at a Catholic hospital, they wouldn't even let him spend the night because we weren't married. So that sucked even more. You know what I'm saying? So it is a level of having access as well. The ring just don't give you bragging rights. It provides you opportunity and access to other things. And so if you're truly about your commitment, like I've told you guys this before, my husband was on at the same talking points that he was saying, if I really love you, I'm going to be committed. I don't need a ring. I don't need a contract to prove my commitment to you. Like he was on that. And as much as I may have understood where he was coming from, my argument to that was, well, even though you're there, then it shouldn't mean anything for you to jump that line in a sense to secure me if I need that for me. And even though he didn't, he jumped that line and he did that for me. And he'll say, even to this day, I didn't want to get married. She did. And people be like, oh my goodness, why would you say that? But I understand I understand where he was coming from with that. I already made up my mind to be committed to you. So nothing changed for him on that end. But he understood that I needed that coming from my experience, the way I grew up or whatever, that was just something that was expectation. I didn't belabor the issue or anything like that. I just set what my standard was, and he ended up meeting that standard.
Can I ask you a question after Marcus goes?
Yes.